Focus is on women's basketball today. Really excited to talk with Rikki Harris.
Yes.
Rikki, thank you so much for giving us a few minutes. Before your collegiate career, because you played amazing minutes and you had a terrific career at Ohio State and now what you're doing at Dayton. But I was in awe to learn about your days in high school and the injuries that you had to go through in 2 ACLs. And I was just kind of interested in wondering if there was ever a moment in high school to where you thought that you'd have a career of what you've been able to see now at 2 different stops.
Yeah, so I would say I tore my first ACL in 8th grade. So my sophomore year of high school was my breakout year. That's when I got all my offers. So at that point, I'm like, oh, I'm the best. I can do this at any level. And then tore it again my junior year. Devastated, but it also, I had done it before, so I'm like, you can come back. And I was committed, so I'm like, at least your future is somewhat taken care of for now. So I worked hard on that. Really, my freshman year of college for my knees, ended up having surgery on my shoulder for a torn labrum. And then, so my sophomore year was kind of, I would say my breakout year, a little bit getting used to playing again, but then COVID happened. So then we went into my junior year, and that was when injuries happened to some of my other teammates, and I really had to step up and play, and that's where I feel like I really broke out then for Ohio State.
And fingers crossed.
Yeah.
You've been riding pretty well. On that injury front, though, how hard is it in recovering? Because I think a lot of folks see it, but then there's also those stories of folks that just aren't able to come back, with just how difficult it is of trying to bounce back, and you doing it multiple times.
Yeah, I was draining physically, mentally, and emotionally. Had to really lean on my parents, my siblings, and then later on I had nephews and nieces come into the picture, so that really helped me because I would do my rehab and then be with them. It just helped and made it easy, and then they would be there, so then they would try to do the stuff I was doing, which wasn't helpful at all, but it was cute to watch them do it and try to go through that with me. So it's definitely hard, and then having to do that in high school and balance school, because I missed like a month of school due to surgery. So just having to do the work and catch up was also hard, because then it made it hard for me to just focus on my knee. And then I'm like, no, I have to focus on school. And so it was very draining and time consuming, but it was the only thing I really focused on. And I would my mom helped me out a lot. She was probably my physical therapist at some point. She would wake me up out my sleep. She would make sure I did everything. And even when I wasn't supposed to ice or didn't have to ice, she made me ice. And my dad just was very patient with me. He knew that I would be the player I was once again. So he just stayed patient, because it took time.
Well, that support system, it is so crucial, and for somebody coming back from an injury, and without a doubt, you had that. Of all the injuries that you've had to deal with, what was the most difficult one?
I would say my second ACL, just because it was my junior year. Started that year off fantastic. Only made it through 10 games, I believe, 10 or 12 of that year, and was hurt before Christmas. And I would say going into college after that, it was hard just because my knees weren't able to handle what they were trying to make me do. So my whole freshman summer, I did mainly rehab for my knees, and then just to get to September, October to find out I needed shoulder surgery. So I would say the ACL was hard. It's hard to say though. The shoulder was hard because with your ACL and stuff, you still can move. They want you bending, so by the 2 to 3 months mark, I'm able to still shoot. Maybe not threes, but I can shoot still, do stuff. With your shoulder, I was in a sling for 2.5, 3 months, and just wasn't able to do really much at all. You have to get your rotation back in all angles. So I would say mentally, the knees was the hardest one, but physically, the shoulder was harder.
Well, I'm interested for you to talk about that in a way of mental to physical, because I think that's another part of the equation that people don't necessarily take in, with an injury.
Yeah.
Is your mentality and what's really hard of like those thoughts that sort of go through your head. Is the mental part maybe the most difficult?
100%. I would say after my second ACL, because I had a previous surgery on my foot right before that season started, minor, nothing too serious. So, but after the second ACL, it showed me like, you've been through this before. You know what it takes to come back, but it's going to be harder because you've done this before. A lot more wear and tear on your knee now. And so I would say mentally, I just had to tell myself, like, you know what to do. It's going to be hard, but like, you've done it before. So like, just keep pushing. And there'd be days I wanted to quit and not just say, forget it. But I mean, I think it's okay to have those days. I mean, you got to express how you feel. Which in those days, I would take a break or 2-3 days off from just doing anything just to let my body calm down, focus on my mental, focus on just anything but that. And then I jump right back into it and do what I need to do. But it's also nice to take those days.
Does that also go into play with the support system?
100%.
Like being able to talk to people about it?
Yes. Big family person. I did it young, so my family was always around. So whenever I did go through those times where I'm like, I just can't do this, my brothers, my mom, dad, of course, but they just always was like, you got this. Like, and then my brothers would like take me to the gym. They would come to the gym with me. They never went to the gym. They would come, wake up early. They don't wake up early. So it's just like seeing them step out their comfort zones to help me made it easier for me to like push through my uncomfort and just how hard it was.
It's an amazing story, and it's really incredible of the things that you've been able to accomplish, like from all of the injuries. And I'm always fascinated. And, you know, you break down things of like what you've been through, and I think that your next path would be a doctor.
Right? I wish it was. I'd be able to fix my body.
But you, correct me if I'm wrong, you want to go into coaching?
Yes.
And you've been able to do a little bit of that here at Dayton?
100%. The coaching staff has been amazing with working with me and some of our other players, just with the development of being a coach. They let me do like a scout for one of our scrimmages. Well, both of them actually, terrified. Doing it, the work of it wasn't like too hard because it's basketball. But then like talking in front of my teammates and explaining and making sure I say the right coverages and make sure they know what I'm saying and understand, that was the hardest part. But they said I did good. So just getting used to talking. I don't like talking in front of people, but I do. But I get nervous. So once like the first 2 or 3 minutes of the talk, I was like, and rocking back. And then by the time the end came, I was like comfortable, laid back, just explaining. So just telling myself like, I know what I'm talking about, own it, you know it, and it made it easier at that point.
From that process, sometimes you have this idea of what you want to do, and then you get a chance to actually like be in that setting, and then there's the moment of, ooh, do I really want to do this? From what you were able to work on in those scrimmages and trying to prepare yourself, prepare your team, is that still where you want to go?
Oh, 100%. I wanted to play professional. The injuries happened. By the time after my junior year, I knew professional ball probably wouldn't be for me, just with my injuries. And I don't want to be like 35 to 40 and need 2 knee replacements and the hip. My body's done had a lot of damage. And so for it to be where it's at now, I'm amazed and just happy, honestly. So I wanted to like be able to get back to the sport of basketball. And I feel like not playing, the only other way for me to do it is coaching. And I like to say I have a nice IQ for the game. So I would like to share that with younger players and just help them.
Well, it's awesome that you get a chance here at UD to sort of get your feet wet.
Yeah.
and sort of, you know, grab a clipboard and, you know, maybe even grab a whistle in some capacity. Amongst your change, and I think what's also like really helpful is like your experiences in, you know, Ohio State and now here at Dayton. What's been the nice thing about being a Flyer and maybe the biggest adjustment from Columbus here to Dayton?
The nicest, everything. I love being a Flyer. It's not it's less stressful. I feel like I mean, I couldn't complain about anything here. I love the coaching staff. My teammates are great. We work hard, and yeah, it's no complaints. The fans are great. I would say the hardest part transitioning was being a new player and being so old, being new. I was used to being like at Ohio State 5 years in, so the older I got, I've been here. So coming to a new team and being so old, I knew I was going to be I wanted to be a captain. I had a feeling I might be, but still had to work for it. But I am a captain now. So I just knew like I'm going to have to lead these girls, and they don't know me. They don't, like, I built the trust, and everyone knew me at Ohio State. So they knew what I could do. They knew what I was going to bring, and they trusted what I was going to say to them. So here, realizing that like I have to build these new relationships and build that trust for them to trust what I say and trust me to lead them. I think that was the hardest change, trying to get people to understand me as I understand them.
Well, you mentioned the word lead though, and that's coaching.
Yeah.
And so that's a terrific experience of trying to make that next step of what you want to do ultimately, which I think is a really cool process of you just being aware of that, of knowing like I'm going to this new place and I have to, earn that trust. I do want to cross paths because we got a chance to talk to one of your teammates, Ivy Wolf, and I said, do you have a question for Rikki Harris? And she wanted me to ask you about a playlist from one of your former teammates.
Okay.
And J.C. Sheldon at Ohio State. So what is this playlist she's talking about?
Yeah, so at Ohio State, we didn't listen to country music at all in practice, in the weight room. It was a rare occasion if you heard country playing. And over the years, it's gotten better, a little more country here and there. So me and JC are tighter than tight. That's my best friend. My sister, I would even say, we talk all the time. And so last year, she came back last year to play her final year. We made a promise to each other that we would stay together for all our years. And so she was like, yeah, on my way out, I'm going to give you something. So she gave me her playlist for me to listen and to learn country music. So I'll listen to it here and there. And some of the songs I'm starting to understand and know, which all the music's great music. It's just when you don't know that genre, you don't know who to look for or what to do. So she helped me with that. So I'll listen to it sometimes, but I think it's cool because I'm like, Ivy, I think I know this song. And she's like, well, who is it? I'm like, I know the song. I don't know the person. But if you look at this playlist, I could show you. So, but yeah, JC, it's her playlist. Everything that she adds into it, it just comes straight to my phone because it's on my phone. So all the credit goes to J.C. Sheldon on that.
That's cool. Now, you were talking about the artist, and you might not know. Do you have a favorite country artist?
Probably not.
Okay.
Probably not, but I do like country music.
Okay.
I listen to, like, J.C. has a lot of different artists on her playlist. And I think it's the sound of how each one sounds different but similar. But you can tell like it's a different person just by it. So
I got that.
Just learning. I think at this stage I'm still learning the music and feeling it, and then I think the next step would be finding the artist that I.
You mentioned your great friendship with your former teammate J.C. Sheldon. Are you the biggest Dallas Wings fan?
100%. Didn't miss a game. Yeah, I was at a wedding. The wedding was going on. My girl was playing. Phone was on the lap. I mean, I would never miss none of her games. I'm #1 fan all day.
Well, we're a big fan of you. We are so excited that you're a Dayton Flyer, and wish you nothing but the best as we move forward in the season.